Are you one of the many busy professionals working in offices day in and day out? Do you wonder how some people grow their wealth fast, retire early, and play on workdays? Well, you're in luck, because Ginny Bolling hosts this show, Pivot to Prosperity, where she interviews people that can do just that. Play on workdays. Many guests have become financially free. She also interviews people that are on their journey and people that are in support roles, like attorneys, contractors, brokers, and others. Commercial real estate is the common element. She is on a mission to be sure busy professionals know they can own substantial commercial properties too, like apartments, self-storage facilities, and others, and not have to do the work managing them. Passive investing is the key. Syndications are the typical method. Tax write-offs are some of the biggest rewards. Ginny and partners find the deals, build a strong team and business plan, then offer the investment opportunities to passive investors. New episodes are released every Tuesday at 12, so watch for new releases. If you want to get involved, let us know. You need to get pre-qualified to hear about most deals. See the show notes for contact information.
Hello. Ginny Bolling here with Pivot to Prosperity, brought to you by Pivotal Real Estate Investments. And today we have, oh no, I was going to practice pronouncing your name. You go ahead. You say it yourself.
Buddhika Jayasena.
Say it again.
Buddhika Jayasena.
All right. Okay. And the nationality is considered from Sri Lanka, right?
That's right.
Very good. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I'm going to read your bio here and then we'll jump right in. Okay. You are a highly motivated director of engineering with a PhD in mechanical engineering and over 15 years of experience leading cross-functional teams, developing and implementing innovative technology solutions. And I would say that needs an exclamation point. Possesses a deep understanding of new product development, R&D technology, deployment, and general intellectual property or generational. Okay, I've got a thing that's blocking the rest of that word. Intellectual properties from concept to commercialization in medical devices and a passion for staying up to date with the latest technologies. You have a proven track record of delivering projects on time, within budget, and exceeding expectations. Well, welcome. You do have a very interesting resume, I would say, and I appreciate you coming on the show. And why don't you talk a little about how you ended up getting to where you are today?
Thank you very much. Yes, that is an exciting journey. As you said, yes, I was born in Sri Lanka. So I completed my first degree in Sri Lanka in Bachelor's of Engineering at the University of Peradeniya. And then after I worked over there almost 1.5 years in the industry. And then I thought I need to do some postgraduate studies. So I went to Singapore. So I spent another almost 5 years in Singapore. So during that time, I got my master's and also I had a chance to get my PhD. So that is an interesting journey because at the beginning, I thought only I wanted to get a master's degree. But I met a professor called Satyan Subaya at that time. So he was very instrumental. And then we worked together during the master's program. And then we had a very interesting topic. It's called, that time, it was a very, very hot topic. It's about graphene. So we were looking at various ways to produce graphene. And I was there almost 5 years. After getting the PhD, I had a chance to come and work in US. So then I came to Georgia Tech and I started doing a postdoc for another 3 more years, almost close to 3 more years. And then I moved to the industry and I worked in a couple of different companies. And also I started as an engineer and then went all the way up to the director of engineering and then engaged with multiple projects, very interesting projects. And at the same time, now I had a chance to move into a different field also in the financial industry. And well, yes, as you said that I have explored a number of different opportunities in different countries, and it's a very interesting journey.
It is, and we're going to dig in a little more, but I do need to turn my lights on because I'm not looking very even. But talk a little more about, say what graphene is, and dig in a little like what we were talking about, would you?
Sure. The graphene is a single layer of carbon. So this is one of the lightest materials ever you can find it. So people were trying to find this, graphene from long time back. And then in 2004, the researchers from University of Manchester, Andrew Graham and Nosolo, were able to exfoliate graphene. So then everybody started studying the graphene properties. By the time I started my PhD around 2009, we saw that there is a huge wave to study about graphene and graphene applications. So as I said, my supervisor and myself, we were talking about how to produce graphene in a larger scale because our background is a background as mechanical engineers or manufacturing engineers. And we thought that it is very interesting to see how we can produce it in a larger scale. So we were coming up with a new technique called wedge-based mechanical exfoliation. Basically, graphenes come out of graphite. Most people know graphite. If you take a normal pencil consists of graphite. So graphite is a layered material, but layers are a little bit inconsistent. So we thought like it's like bread cutting. The concept is like bread cutting. Can you get the graphite piece and can you cut or peel through the layers and separate graphene? That was a very simple concept. So we were following that. So we set up an experimental setup and we try to do experiments. At the same time, we realized that we need to understand the mechanisms. Basically, we are peeling the layers. So during that time, we wanted to know what are the properties, what factors dominate for that. So then we did molecular dynamic simulations. This is like atoms. So in molecular dynamics, we take atoms and we model atoms in certain software and try to understand how they move and how they behave. So that's what we did. And then the whole idea was actually people were talking about few nanometers, and we were thinking that can we, scale up it to millimeters or even centimeters at that time, because that would help for number of applications that people were studying. So that was my graphene journey. And also what we discovered new knowledge and we published those things in journal papers and also conference papers. And also we presented in various conferences around the world. That was a very interesting 4 years, I would say, because it's
I
a new
bet.
material.
And so when you talk about the pencils and the graphite, it's not the lead, it's the what goes around the pencil.
Yes, that's the one. That's the part that you are writing.
What I chew on.
Yes, sometimes. So it's in this tip, right? This is graphite. If you can see that it's in the tip, this is the graphite. So when you write, probably you write few layers of graphene into your paper.
Oh, it's not lead?
It's not lead. This is graphite. This is graphite. Actually, what will happen is this is, there are other materials or impurities, part of this. That's a different issue. But yeah, actually, that if we able to produce graphene consistently in a larger scale, there are multiple applications. One is in aerospace, the other is in medical devices, and also like for example, if you take a computer, it could be a few millimeters or few nanometers thick, and also it has a very interesting electrical, mechanical, and chemical properties, which would basically overturn the entire materials landscape. So but it has been like if you observe the history of the materials, how materials are developed, and how long those materials to be used in various applications probably take multiple decades. So I think graphene is going through the same process now. And there was a big hype from like probably around 2010 to 2015, that area. And still there is a big hype. And these materials are called 2D materials. And there are another set of 2D materials people are observing. Yeah, graphene is a very, very interesting material.
And is it a mineral or something to begin
It's
with?
it's yes, it's a pure carbon. It's a pure carbon. It's a pure carbon, element carbon. Graphene consists of carbon atoms.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. So is it mined?
Yes, graphite is mining. Graphite
Okay.
is comes through the mining,
And
and there are
where are the deposits?
there are all around in the world. Some of them are coming from China, and of course, where I was born in Sri Lanka, they have something called vein graphite. Vein graphite considered as the most purest graphite
Ah,
because of in terms of layers. But yes, graphene are like, and also like there are multiple other applications in graphite.
yeah. And as you know, I get into that stuff, but we're really here to talk about how all that work you've done and the study and the preciseness and everything that you've done translates to what you're doing now, right? Explain that.
So that's right. That's right. So currently now I also work as a certified financial professional. So what I have seen is, I'll tell you how I enter into this, the financial the domain. So one day, actually, I was looking for a financial planner. I thought like there's something I need to learn, and then I was able to find one, and he came to my home and then went through my entire profile, and basically he tried to peel my layers, right, exactly which I did in my PhD during producing the graphene. So then I saw that there are a lot of holes in that. Initially, I thought, yes, I'm working out in the industry, I'm well settled. I thought like the steady stream of income, and I thought, oh yeah. But he asked one question. So he asked, do you have enough not to worry? So that question itself made me worry.
Do you
So
have
then,
enough not to worry?
not
Right.
to worry, right? So then we discussed. So his name is Mr. Sridhar Potabatula. So then we went through everything. And then ultimately he showed that there is a way and also the opportunity. So then I worked with him and I got the licenses. And so far, I have almost 15 states license for this financial industry. And also, because of my background, I start learning more and more into the financial aspects. Then I realized that not only me, there are multiple people have the same kind of questions, but sometimes we are not open enough, and also there are very limited formal educations going on. So then I thought that because of my the things that I have done in my PhD, I went through each and every corner. Now almost I'm working 2 years in this industry. At the same time, I'm trying to help people. That's what we do basically, right? You understand what we have learned, and then try to help them to achieve what they want, because people's needs and wants are different, and people have financially their goals are very very different. And for example, if I tell you something that the longevity nowadays, people are living more than 85 to 90 years. The question is, you have some financial vehicles. Does that financial, all these financial vehicle generate enough income for you to happily live in that age? If not, what will happen? And also we have seen, of course, that life is really uncertain. Some people has to leave this world too early. Then what will happen to your family and your close children and family, and also what are we doing for them? Are we evaluate our risk, and are we going to mitigate our risk? And of course, in the middle period, are we generating enough wealth? So those are the subjects and topics that we are going to talk about here. And also what we are trying to do is, as I said, understand the problem and then bring the solution for that. That's what exactly I did in my PhD. So we understood
Right.
the problem, we try to bring the solution for that.
That's so true. And so, and to reflect on it a little from a different way, since I've been in real estate my whole life. But it was different when I started getting into the investor side. I've been a consultant, I've worked for government, I've done all these other aspects. But then when you get into the wealth building world, there's so many tips and tricks and totally different things you don't get exposed to until you get into this world. And then some people don't like sharing that information, but we're in the business of trying to help people to understand what they can really do, because it's kind of a different world, the internet age, Harvard business and some of the talking heads, for instance, call the current age the information age, of course, and whatnot, but it's totally blown open the access to some of these tips and tricks only the wealthy knew before. So we are sharing that. And so why don't you expound on some of your preferred products, or if you want to list all or whatever you want to do, but go ahead and get into some of your favorite tools for building wealth.
Sure. So let's start with a very simple tool, which we really ignored, right? This is called state planning. So typically people call wills and trusts. This is a very important vehicle, because when you have minor kids and also you have some properties, and if you are not define how it go to your family, or you haven't defined it, then what will happen? Probably you have to go to the probate court. That is unnecessary, unnecessary activity, which probably sometimes cost around 4 to 20% of your net worth, maybe. And also it's a pain for your family. So that easily this could have been avoided if you follow. There are a number of tools available now. It could be through your corporate, the place that you work, or maybe there are enough tools available in the internet, right? We work with another provider for that. So just make use of that. The awareness is the biggest issue, especially people coming from outside of US, like they simply ignore these things, right? And this is a really, really critical one. The other thing is, like, let's say now sometimes people think like, I'm working with the life insurance side. This is a one pillar we are working, because life insurance people thinks like, oh, this product we use after passing away. No, that's not. Nowadays, they have very good products and features which you can use during your lifetime. Some of them probably you can use as a retirement vehicle, maybe for your kids' education, maybe if you want to do any major purchases, even since you know that you are in the real estate, right? So some of the products can be used as a protection for real estate. Right? Have you thought about that? And also, we talk about the risk mitigation. So these can be used as one of the risk mitigation tools. But most of people are not aware of that. And also, the other thing is, we know that the stock market, going up and downs. So there are other products that you can, provide the protection of this stock market volatility. So you can use those products. And also there are other products that called index, universal life, those kind of products. As I said, used as a multi-purpose vehicle. So those are the products we mainly work on that. And also it's purely based on the customer requirements and customer needs. So as you said, we know about real estate, we know 401k, we know stocks, crypto, maybe mutual funds. But what about the other vehicles? As I said, and as you said, some of the life insurance vehicles, very wealthy people use it. Even in 1900, people use it these products. And also the companies that the providers especially provide these vehicles, they are older than 100 years. So that's the interesting part. As you said, they were probably restricted to certain set of people, and now they are opening up to many people. So our duty is to educate them. So once you educate, and then these customers or our friends and family, let's put it that way, right? When they realize that this is how these products, can be used, then of course, there's another set of products which help for your retirements and, your needs basically.
Right. Yeah. So the Rockefellers, I guess, are the most famous for the insurance products of, the whole life. And I haven't read the book yet. What would the Rockefellers do? I bought it, and Yeah, I'm learning about it, as you know. But yeah, it's not new. And I'm kicking myself for not engaging. The first time I heard about whole life policies and cash value and how powerful of a tool it could be, I thought it was laborious, and I think I confused it probably with the velocity banking and some of the other products out there. But this is really more, well, you tell me. I know that there's capital preservation. You've got you've got preservation, and then you've got growth, and then you need to offset with the risk and so many other things. So do you want to talk about it that way a bit on where those fit?
Sure, yes. So let's say like someone in early 40s, right? And then how do you use these certain vehicles for these people in early 40s? When you are in 40s, you are not thinking about much about your retirement. You think like its retirement is far away. But if you don't think now, probably it's too late you to think about 60s or even 65. So what you can do is like there are certain vehicles, as you said, if you put more in the upfront, then they work, right? It's a simple idea. Like if you put some money and then it will work for you later,
Yeah,
right?
the power
So
of compounding, right?
for power of, yes, compounding interest, and also like something called like a max fund IULs and other stuff. So where you put, let's say, 350 grand, and probably it will work at least 5 to 8 times more later on in your retirement. How about that? So you are using like, yes, you have all the traditional wealth building tools you are using. You have those things because we are also talking about the diversification factor, because that's very important. We are not telling one instrument is better than the other. What we are telling is you need to have all these buckets, right? So basically, what we have seen in this country is tax now, tax deferred, and tax advantage categories, right? So where these the infinity banking kind of concepts comes in, like in tax advantage category, because especially when you put money into cash life insurances, when you withdraw money under IRS code 7702, it is completely tax free. You pay zero taxes. That is very powerful, right? We are crying for the taxes, right? This is one way to, legally, one way to, get more return for you in your retirement vehicle, right? So based on like, if you have an experienced advisor, they can fine tune your the cash value life insurances, their designs, such a way that you can get more, more value at the end. And even if somebody is in like 60s, right, what they can do is probably they have to put more money at that time, because whereas like let's say somebody in 40s probably putting 350 grand, whereas the other person need to get the same benefit in 60s, have to put 500,000. So because of the the time value, right? So yes, there are multiple ways you can use it, but unfortunately, sometimes people are looking in a different angle when you see these kind of vehicles. Do we need these vehicles, or purely because they're not known about the information and how to use that? I
Well, and
think these
part
are
of the
the
magic on that one, too, is as I see it, is the you becoming your own bank where you borrow against it and you can invest it elsewhere while it's still compounding here too. And if you
exactly
don't pay it back before you die, they just deduct it from the payout. So
exactly that is your own bank. Why not we are having our own bank?
yeah, I
But
love it.
the beauty of this is like you cannot start this when you are at 60. It's better to start at 40 or even 35.
Yeah.
If you start early, you have money, then you can do your own banking.
Yeah, it's very powerful. I have been trying to convey that to my kids. Now they're in their 20s, and when they look up the information out there, it's like there's enough competing products, I guess, that it's not um top of the list for that. But it's a very powerful tool, no doubt whatsoever. And it but yes, you can go to the internet and learn about it, but to get it written up properly, it's key to talk to somebody that really knows how to write up all those riders, all those conditions, all those stipulations, so that it's going to work the way you think.
And also think about the customer requirement, like what exactly that customer needs. Probably
Yeah.
that customer might have number of other vehicles, right? Probably all your vehicles may be in stock market where you have the risk, right? High risk. And then when that's why it is very important, go to experienced advisor, and they
Right.
will help you to,
Yeah.
get whatever you need.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I can so appreciate what you're doing too, because so many people are in these high income jobs, but they burn out for one, but also someday something can happen. And if you don't have a backup plan, then it's trouble. And not only do you need a financial plan for that, but when you are doing like you are, where you're studying it to the point where it's like a side job, then you really are learning all the ins and outs of it. And so I can appreciate all the effort that it takes. And now, are you still working a regular job too, or no?
We'll add one more thing here before that, right? So this is in these vehicles, they have something called living benefits. So
Right.
what it means is, after, let's say, we all get some kind of illnesses, right? When you go especially older, the probability is more, right? So then if we have to have like some kind of a long illness, like it could be a critical illness, it could be a terminal illness or something, right? So where are you going to find the money for that? Are you going to use your 401k, or are you going to use your savings? If you use those things, what will happen is that you are consuming your retirement money, maybe for you or your family, right? So then there will be another huge vacuum when you living much longer.
Yeah.
So that's why it is very important to use these products, and also use the proper riders.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a specialized industry. It really is. And so that's good to point out, obviously. Um, okay. Well, so, and as you know, towards the end, I always ask if there's a person or event that brought you to where you are today, and if not, or if you'd rather talk about something that is a goal or something propelling you towards something, you can do that. And mind you, if you call out a person, they can be recognized as a pivotal person and come on the show and get a lapel pin and all that good stuff. So we'd love to have pivotal people on the show.
Sure, sure. I'll tell you like two people actually. So one
Okay.
is my PhD supervisor, Professor Satyen Subaya, because I went to Singapore to do my master's degree. So that time I met him, and then I worked with him like during the master's program. I worked with him program related to one of the leading aerospace company, and we very successfully did that. And I learned his working style, so that when he offered me the opportunity of doing a PhD, there was no doubt. Only is I need to think about my commitment. If I put a tick to my commitment, I knew that I can work with him. So basically, during that next 4 years, I worked with him, and he was we were able to work very closely, and also my whole thought process looking at the problem is changed, right? Your mindset and everything change, and also you are looking at the bigger problems in the world, and also how to deal with various people, technical people, as well as how to communicate what you are learning to the others. Everything had changed. So I think he is one of the pivotal person who changed my life. And then again, as I said, I came to this financial industry due to it's not a planned one. So I met one person, right? He came to my home, and then we had a conversations, and we went through. So this person is Mr. Sridhar Fothbatula.
Right.
Because of him, I think I came to this industry. So these are the two people actually changed my life in a certain way, and I think it's a two pivotal people I could introduce here.
That's terrific. That is. And we talked a little before. You want to give them a call, right, yourself, and let them know you nominated them?
Absolutely, I will
Good.
do that.
That's great. And then let them know that I can call them or they can call me, either one. That's great.
Yes,
Super.
definitely.
And you know what else occurred to me too that I meant to bring out was, besides the fact that you went through this extremely high level of training and doing with peeling back layers and studying every nano inch, so to speak. But the whole goal was scaling. And so you're not only doing the peeling back, but you're trying to show people how to scale. So you're using both sides of it.
Absolutely, that's right. So when we look at when we were trying to produce graphene, one aspect was scaling up. How do you produce a larger scale? Even here, the same way. There are multiple ways. Like, let's say that if you think about the customer, we are helping them to scale up their investment, right? How to get the maximum out of that. Also, how to diversify it, right? Those aspects. And
Yep.
yes, there is a clear correlation. I can say in two different fields.
Yeah, there is a direct one. Yeah, yeah. And that's great. I mean, there's so many times we go and we do work somewhere and we don't think we'll ever use those skills. They're not transferable, but those definitely are. And I think most really are if people try hard enough. But yeah, yours are really particularly important because of the level of detail that you go into and the scientific background you've got. It really, I'm sure your coworkers are real happy that you've learned how to tell them what to do, right?
Yes, now I'm trying to see that the same scientific community also, reaching them and explaining these things. And
Yeah.
when I was in the scientific community, I had a very limited understanding on these finances, especially the personal finances. Because one reason is people are very close. People, this is the topic that we are not talking, openly. The second thing is the knowledge, right? We are not getting a formal knowledge from anywhere else, right? Here and there we get, and nowadays people, have written a lot of books and other stuff, but yes, knowledge is one thing, and then you learn those knowledge and apply to you is completely a different thing. Sometimes you yourself cannot do that. You need some help of someone, right? The exact same way that I did, because I was working with my supervisor during my PhD time, and then I learned through him, and then I started discovering my own knowledge. The same way here, I was working with my mentors here, and also, as I said, like with people like Mr. Sridhar, I work. He's a very good mentor, and then the same thing happened. Like, okay, you learn from him, and then you discover in all other corners.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you dig in deep like you do.
Yes.
So that's great. All right. Well, so why don't you tell people how they can reach you? And we'll put it in
All
the
right.
show notes too. But remember, some people might be on iTunes or whatever. So spell whatever you'd like in case they can't look.
Sure. You can reach me through my phone 470-509-9337. My name once again Buddhika Jayasena, and also you can reach me through my email buddhikaphd@gmail.com. Once again, buddhikaphd@gmail.com. And also you can reach me through LinkedIn. Yes,
Yeah, you're easy to find on LinkedIn for sure. And yeah,
yes.
we'll have all of the show notes. And terrific. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I think people will get some good knowledge out of this, and hopefully you'll get some calls. And I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. And also, I thoroughly enjoyed this discussion.
Good. Well, we'll be talking. We'll have to stay in touch. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye bye.